First off, I've got to say that there aren't any shortcuts, quick fixes, or secrets to building fast hand speed. However, there are certain techniques that have to happen in order to play fast. If you aren't incorporating these techniques into your playing, that very well could be why you're struggling to play fast. Today we're talking about these specific techniques that are the key to hand agility. We'll talk about how to practice them and how to get your technique to the level where you need it. Hey everybody, welcome to The Non-Glamorous Drummer. This is the channel that is all about providing you with the non-glamorous tips and topics of the trade to help teach you the drumming skills that really matter to help you become a better drummer. If you're new to the channel, I really hope you'll subscribe. By the way, while you're here on this video, go check out the link in the description that will take you straight to a new free ebook designed to help you find the ideal kit setup. You can much more quickly become relaxed behind the kit, and that's really gonna help your playing out. So today we're gonna start off by literally going down a checklist. I'll demonstrate something, and I want you to see if your technique allows you to do it. We'll start with basics, and we'll progress into more advanced techniques. And if at any point you realize, oh, I'm having trouble with this, then you'll know that that's where you need to start, and that's what you need to work on. I also want to start by saying that we all know that drumming isn't all about speed. However, we don't want to hit a technique ceiling in our playing. We always want to be able to play faster than we actually need to. Interestingly, learning the techniques that help us play faster actually helps us to get better at the other, also very relevant techniques involved in drumming. And this will become apparent as we work through a lot of this today. So 3 ways to increase hand speed. Number 1, make sure that your grip is squared away. Make sure that there are no problems going on with it. Make sure that you've got a good pivot point, that fulcrum point where you've got your thumb, you've got your first finger across from it. On a Vic First stick, for me and for a lot of my students, that comfortable spot is thumb on the American flag, first finger directly across. That's just a good, comfortable spot for most general playing. Yeah, we're gonna adjust that. That can be flexible based on what we're playing, but that's a good starting point. So make sure that the stick is loosely pivoting off of that point and that you're using your other fingers to wrap around and cradle the stick, not to squeeze it, but to be there to help guide it, reinforce it, and later on to increase the speed. However, the first challenge associated with this whole grip thing is making sure that we're not squeezing the fingers too tight. We have to be able to open up our hand as we get louder as we're playing. But when you're playing quietly, it's okay to have the fingers fairly tight on the stick because the stick doesn't need to move a lot. It's not moving much within our hands. But as we get louder, the stick has to be able to move inside of our hands between our palm and between our fingers. Otherwise, if we're not allowing it to do that, we're literally going like this. That doesn't allow for rebound, and at that point, we've essentially lost the pivot point. That's no good. If we have the pivot point, our fingers are staying loose, then we can play on a pad, drum whatever, and it should be a nice, smooth, relaxed motion. However loud, soft, fast, or slow we need to go. Now the second point here out of these 3 is rebound. Now the funny thing about this is that really by default, if everything is good to go on point number 1 there about grip, and the grip is great, pivot point, fingers, all that's good to go, then rebound is inherently going to be fine because good grip equals good rebound. If you're staying nice and loose and smooth, the stick is going to effortlessly bounce, especially when it's a little pad like this. This pad is extremely bouncy, so it's a really good beginner pad. So really the second point of rebound is sort of a way to test whether or not you have conquered point number 1. If you're encountering any kind of rebound problem and something isn't bouncing smoothly, like if you're watching your stick bounce and you see that, okay, it's not actually traveling in a smooth line, there's some sort of weird zigzag or weird angle going on, or I'm getting tired really quick, then you know something's probably up, and it probably just has to do with that pivot point and the overall looseness. If you can stay loose and relaxed, that has got to be the absolute biggest, most important thing to good feeling, relaxed drumming, actually keeping your hands relaxed. I was playing a hi-hat pattern the other day, and I was thinking about how it just didn't quite feel right, and it occurred to me, well, I'm not totally relaxed. If I loosen up my hands a little bit, let the sticks move more loosely in my hands, it actually fell into place a little bit better, and it grooved better. It's funny how that works. Sometimes when we work too hard to control every little motion of the stick, it doesn't actually work so well. We've got to let it bounce smoothly, let it do what the laws of physics are telling it to do. And from there, we can utilize that to our advantage. So now on to point 3. Now, we've only got 3 points here, and so it might sound like I'm oversimplifying things, but this really isn't that complicated. Number 3 is we've got to use our fingers to increase the speed. So if we've got the grip down, we've got our fingers in place, things are loose and relaxed, then we can begin to actually use our fingers to move the stick even faster, however fast we need it to go for whatever we're playing. The first way to test this is, well, number 1, can you play some smooth doubles? But better yet, can you play those doubles on your leg? My first drum teacher, first week of lessons, had me play what he called the leg roll. Basically just playing a double stroke roll on my leg. And of course, it might depend on what you're wearing, but for the most part, there's gonna be no rebound there. The stick is just gonna flop and be dead. It's like playing on heavy carpet or playing on a pillow or on a towel. It becomes a workout surface. If you can play doubles on your leg or on a pillow or on a stack of towels, that means that those fingers are definitely working to create the rebound that doesn't exist. If you can do that, you're well on your way to using your fingers. Now, if you're like, okay, Steven, this isn't working, I have no idea what you're talking about, we just gotta go over some basic finger exercises to get those fingers working, to make that brain connection between brain and fingers so that they know what to do, and then to build up that strength so that your fingers are strong and they can learn to propel the sticks. The first exercise that I'll have students do, and one of my favorites, is where you just hold the stick by the butt end like this, and then hold your arm out. This might be out of the shot. There'll be some additional footage of this in case we need it. And then hold your arm straight out. You can look down your arm to really make sure that your wrist isn't moving and that your hand isn't moving and that it's literally just your fingers causing the stick to bounce up and to hit your arm. So it's basically an open close motion like that, building up that finger strength. I think literally going like this would be an even more basic way to practice this if you didn't have sticks in your hand. Then we can take that and basically apply it to actual playing by doing the French grip exercise, where we're just propelling the stick using our fingers by playing a thumbs up position. We can play with each finger individually, working out each finger, so we can discover which fingers are weak, which ones are strong, which ones need the extra work. And we can practice this on a pillow or on our legs or on a towel or whatever to really accelerate the strength building of those fingers. What's really cool is that you'll find that in doing a lot of this, then you can transition to playing doubles and suddenly it gets a lot more effortless, especially if we jump back over to the super springy pad. You'll find that, wow, this is super easy because I've been playing on towels and on pillows and working on individual fingers this whole time. It all comes together really well and it really doesn't take a lot of time to develop. Now, just a bonus tip here. A lot of you are familiar with George Lawrence Stone's classic drum method book, Stick Control. It's a great book if you're working on stick speed and working on control, and if you're a drummer, you need to get the book, go check it out. He makes a really brilliant point in the introduction of the book that it's important to practice the exercises quietly, not just loud, but when you're practicing them loud and fast, quiet it down so you're playing quiet and fast. He makes the point that quiet playing leads to control. Control is necessary for quiet playing, and that control leads to better speed. All of these things work hand in hand, which brings this discussion full circle. We talked about how working on increasing our speed will actually elevate the other more relevant non-speed related techniques. Number one, in order to get to this point of speed, we've worked on all these important things that are essential to any kind of drumming, so that's obvious. But we also want to practice anything that we're practicing, whether it's singles or doubles, we want to play them loud and fast, quiet and fast, loud and slow, quiet and slow. Each one of these is going to utilize a total different variation of the grip that we're doing. And it's going to approach this whole thing from a different angle, and so your technique will become well-rounded, so then you can transition between them. Playing crescendos, decrescendos, accelerandos, going from slow to fast, fast to slow. You'll be able to do these things much more smoothly and not have any of these weird roadblocks or ceilings. So the really cool thing about working on hand technique with the goal of speed is that you end up increasing your skill in a lot of other areas of drumming. If you follow these steps, your grip will improve. Your rebound will be looser, freer, smoother. Your fingers will work alongside your wrists and allow you to play well quietly. Your overall playing will become less clumsy and more dynamic. You'll have a wider dynamic range and a higher speed ceiling, accomplishing that goal of getting a higher technique ceiling overall. These are all very good things, all very worth practicing and working towards in our drumming. So I know that these things, delving into these technique topics, can really result in a lot of questions. So throw your questions out there. You guys know how to reach me. Feel free to email me also. Let me know how these steps are working for you and tell me some of the techniques that have worked for you to improve your doubles and to work up your fingers. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribers, thanks for watching my videos. And if you haven't subscribed, I really hope this video helped you out. I really hope to earn your subscription. I hope you'll join this community of all of us non-glamorous drummers working on getting better at what we do. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. So long. I will see you next time.